to record the session. So I beg you, if you have any questions, please you can type them in the channel's chat. And then my colleague Beatriz Somavilla, I am Elisa Barceló, and I am one of the librarians at the Polytechnic Library here at the UAM. And my colleague Beatriz Somavilla works in the same library. And well, by the time we are recording the session, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat. And then when at the end of the session, we will stop the recording. And then if you want to, you can ask personally the questions. I will try to answer to any suggestions, comments, or whatever you need. I hope you find this session useful. We are going to have a look at BUN. BUN is the unique search engine. This is the UAM's library searcher. The name comes from the Spanish buscador único. If you want to set the pun, you can think like the bibliographic unique search engine, and then you only have also the name in English, the acronym. Well, BUN is a tool that gives you access to all the resources and publications at the UAM's libraries, not only to those that are printed, but also the electronic resources. Of course, the open access ones, but also the ones, all the resources subscribed by the library. You can access to BUN either by clicking in this icon that you will find in any of the UAM's library web pages, or if you're following the document in the PDF that we have hung on the channel at the materials section. By clicking here in BUN UAMES, we can then access this very useful tool. Well, by default, when you access into BUN, you will have the Spanish version. So the very first thing you will have to do is by clicking in the drop-down menu, you can change and swap your language from Castellano, that's Spanish, into English, or either by clicking in the dots in the upper menu in the Show More options. There you will have also, you will have to go to the Display Language option and swap from Spanish into English if you want to. So once you are already logged in, you have to sign in into BUN. You have to sign in. If you don't sign in, you can access into the different materials, but you won't have the possibility, you won't be able to set requests or purchasing requests. So we recommend you to sign in, always to sign in. You will need to use your UAM, your university email account. This is the one that's more or less like name.surname@estudiante.uam.es and your password. And you also can access to this sign in option by clicking in the dots, show more, and you have the option to sign in or sign out. Well, once you're signed into BUN, you have an interesting menu. This is this black menu. Sorry. With different options, like going to run another search. You can search electronic journals or databases. You can have a look at what the recommended bibliography is by subjects. You can find all of the subjects taught at the Universidad Autónoma de Madrid. From now on, I will say one. Have some recommended bibliography by the teachers, by the different teachers. And you can have a look at any of them. It's not yet translated. You have to set the names in Spanish. You have a BUN guide. It's a tutorial made by the WAMS library. It's very interesting. You can, by clicking in this link, you can see that it's a library guide, very easy to use, very clear, with different tabs. The only but is that it's not yet translated into Spanish, but I hope soon it will. You can check and have a look at the bibliographic news set by the different libraries. You can access the Biblos e-archive. That's the WAMS institutional repository of open access publications. All the researchers at the university who have any publications, you can find them here. If you are used to, you can search by tags. These are the tags that are most popular. They are set by the different libraries. But while you're setting your searches, you can add your own tags and retrieve them in this section. You have an interesting service, that's the interlibrary loan. Whenever you need an article, for example, and you don't find it in BUN because the library hasn't got it, you just have to use this interlibrary loan, and your library will search the article into different academic institutions, and we will search it and we will provide it for you. And the other option you have is browsing in your searches by subject, title, or author. Another interesting option in the black menu is to go to My Library Card. There you can have an overview of what your loans are. If you don't remember exactly because you have taken on loan different materials from different libraries, you can check what's the due date and the library owner. If you have set any request, for example, if you wanted a book and it's on loan, you have set a request and or different requests. You can retrieve them here at My Library Card, or whenever the library has sent you any message. For example, at the time the user who has got this book returns it to the library, as I am in the first in the queue, the library will send me a message telling me that this book that I have requested is already available. I can go to the library and take it on loan. And you can check what your personal details in your card are, like the address, telephone, or the account expiration date. and it's useful if you want to have a look at. And not only you can have a look at what your active loans are, but you can also check what your previous or historic loans have been. If you don't remember exactly in which book, you know that you have read a book with interesting information and you want to retrieve it now to save this bibliographic reference. You can have at a glance, you can take an overview of what all your loans have been. You have to know that all your loans get renewed automatically 5 times, but only if there are no requests of the books. If someone has set a request of a book, the automatic renewals will stop and you will be asked to return the book before the due date. And then if you're still interested in that book, later you can set another request yourself. But if there are no requests, your loans get automatically renewed 5 times. So you can keep on reading the books you have on loan for quite a good time. Well, one of the most useful options that BUN is giving me is that I can set simple searches. This is the how all my searches in BUN look like. I will always have this upper menu there. We will have this searching box. And then once I have set my search, I will get in the main part the result list. And at the left hand, I have a choice to refine my searches. Whenever I get too many results in my searches, I can refine. So by typing some parts of the description field, some part of them, like the title or the author, any keywords or publication data, and by running my search, I can see what the results look like. To use the filters to refine my searches, I can either sort by relevance or I can choose what kind of resource type I'm interested in, topic, or in which library. Or even in the results information, by clicking in on the title, which is always linked, I can see a description of the document, and I will always have some fixed options, like setting for scanning a QR code. I can export to different bibliographic managers. I can set a permanent link, or I can print the document or email it to my teacher, for example, to say, oh, look at what I have found. And in the electronic resources, we will have more additional data. We will see it in detail later. Like some access to read some parts of the contents of the documents, to see the citations. And in these electronic resources, I can have a virtual browse often I will have often these virtual browse where I can see what other documents has been found with similar features of my search. I can add my own tags and retrieve them in the black menu, and I can see other tags set by other libraries or users. Whenever my search throws too many results, I can always set an advanced search. I am going to BUN and I am going to run an advanced search. You have the possibility to set in which collection you want to set your search, either in the print collection or the electronic one, or in both of them by clicking in the global search. You can set the different filters. You can set your search in the title, the author, subject, or publisher, and use to combine them the Boolean operators and, or, and not. If you want more information about these Boolean operators, you can have a look at the BUN library guide. In one of the tabs, you will find more information. You can narrow your search by saying that the terms you're entering you want to be contained into this title or author, or to be exactly like that. Or sometimes you know that a title, for example, starts with some words, you don't remember the title complete, so you can choose the starts with option. And then you can choose between the different material types. You can sometimes you're only interested in books or journals or maps or whatever kind of conference proceedings. So you can choose the material type. You can set language in the one you want to be written, these documents, between those options, or you can specify if you want a specific date or the last 5, 10, 2 years or last year. And then in the search scope back again, you can search within the print collection, articles and more, or the electronic collection. So you can refine your searches quite a lot. I'm going to set this search, for example. I already set this. I want to read a book from the Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, I already have. And I know the author is something like Martin. I'm not sure if it's name or surname, so I'm going to write Martin in my search. And I'm going to add a new line because I know that the saga of Game of Thrones has different subtitles, and one of them is like a song of ice and fire, something like that. So I will write ice, and I'm going to run my search. Well, as you see, I didn't sign in. I just showed you before how to sign in, and then I am asked to sign into to see the results. And I see that this is the book I want, but it's already checked out from the library. So if there are other books of the Song of Ice and Fire, but the only one who is the one I want to is book 1. So I check here at the library, and I see that this book is on loan, and so I have to wait to read it. So what can I do? I can set a request. When you set your request, you have to choose pickup location, the library where you want to pick up the book up. You don't need to choose the library of your faculty. For example, if you live close to the medicine faculty, you can pick up medicine, or if you come at the campus by train, you can choose the humanities library because it's more comfortable for you, even if you are a student at physics or at economics faculty. So once you have chosen the library, you set the request, and well, I cannot because I have on loan this book, but you will be able to set the request. Well, if I am searching for a book and I have the choice to read it online, for example, well, if you want to set a request, all the items have to be on loan. If there are free items that are not on loan, you only have to go to the library and take the book on loan home. But if all the items are on loan, that's when you can set the request. And if you have set a request, but you still want to read the book, and you have the chance to read it online, you can, by clicking on the online access that you will find always on the items on the records of the book, you will find always the provider of this book. So when you see the full text available at and the name of the provider, by clicking directly into this name, you can open and start reading the book. Remember that while you are at the campus, you are connected to the Wi-Fi Durham network. But if you are outside the campus, you will need to connect the VPN2 software. It's very easy to use. You just have to install it on your laptop, and then before connecting or signing to the databases or to BUN, you connect yourself with the VPN software, just the system to recognize that you are a university, a WAM user, because the university pays a big amount of money every year on resources for its users. So you have to identify yourselves like as WAM's users. Well, you have another option if you have set your request and you cannot read it online, and you still want the book, or you're searching for a recommended handbook, and you see that there are a few items in the libraries. So you can set a purchase request, and you will have to fill in a form with the title, author, and other aspects, and the publication date, if you know it. You have to ask to your library. You choose your library, and then click on Solicitud. Unfortunately, this part is not translated yet. And you can go to this purchase request form also by clicking in the upper menu this Solicito de compra. And you can ask your library to buy more items of a book. And if it's something logic, the library will buy them. Well, very interesting is the possibility in BUN to save the records that are interesting for you. Once you've set search and you have your result list, you will have always these options to cite, to send by email, or to add by clicking in this push pin. You can add the items you're interested in to your favorites. Once you have add to your favorites any of the documents you're interested in, by going to the upper, or I'm going to BUN to see it easily. If I add this item, for example, and this one, and this one, and this one, I'm adding them into my favorites. Of course, you have to be signed in to have this option. And then by clicking in the upper push pin, I go to my favorites, and I have there my saved records, not only the 4 I have just added, but the previous one I have saved in other sessions, in previous sessions. I can see what my saved searches have been and my search history. Not in this, only in this session, but in previous one. By going to my search, well, I'm going to run another one. I went back, for example, this one, operating systems, in the title, and in author. Yeah, and I run my search, and once I have my result list, I see that I either personalized my search or save my query. By personalizing my search, I can select some up to 5 disciplines, different disciplines. I can choose, for example, engineering, sciences, physics, or whatever, up to 5 disciplines. And by saving them, I personalize my search. And I always can go back and edit disciplines whenever I change and I want to choose other disciplines. And I can save my query. So I'm going to save the query, and by going to my favorites, and I have the save searches, and I see what are the saved searches I have in my history, and I have some options. I can set an RSS feed for this search, or I can set an alert for this search. By setting an alert, BUN is going to send me notifications whenever in the downloads there are some items related with my search. So I'm going to be up to date all the time related to the searches I have saved in BUN. In the search history, you can see all the search queries you have done from in the beginning, and you always can delete and remove them if you don't need them anymore. The same as with the saved records, you can remove them, and the saved searches you can also remove your search from the saved searches folder. Well, when at the result list, you have seen that you can cite, and you have these dots that we are going to click. I'm going to set a new search, for example. I'm going to search now for Bitcoin in title field, and in the subject field, I want to search something related to blockchain. And I'm going to set my search. I could have refined by publication date, and I see that there are more than 4,000 results. That's too much. So you can start refining and filtering my results. And these are the options. The ones I always have by clicking in the dots are the possibility to set the QR code or the permanent link, to export into a spreadsheet, or to, if you use LaTeX, to different bibliographic managers, to set a citation, and to print or email it. And sometimes you will find these arrows that are very interesting. They are very useful for the navigation between sites. Whenever you find these arrows going up, by clicking there, you can have a look at the sources that are citing this article, this document. And through these other arrows going down, you can see what are the sources cited in this document. So by clicking on one or the other, you can have an idea of what the same researchers that are working on the same fields as I am, who is writing who has more publications and who is more cited. The list you get here is not a complete list of the sources citing the article, but this is the list of the articles that BUN has available, that I can have a look through BUN. So at the same time, if you see what are the sources cited in this article citing mine, so I can have an idea. We already have seen that. You can have an idea of what the authors and articles of my disciplines are on the top 10. And the other options we get through the dots by clicking in the dots. Well, I'm going back to my results list. I don't know if I saved this search or not. No, I'm going back to set my search. Title, subject was in, and I see that by clicking in the dots, I have these options. I can export to a spreadsheet, to BibTeX if you use LaTeX, to other. I told you already that the one we recommend use of RefWorks. It's a bibliographic manager, very useful, but you can use whatever bibliographic manager you want to. And you have here the citation option as well. And this is interesting because if I am writing work, for example, and I'm writing to my teacher, and I suddenly see an article, I think it's interesting. So I've read this. I go back to BUN and I click on the citation commas, and I see that this is the reference of this article, and I can choose between different output styles. Almost every discipline has its own output style. For example, API is used in psychology or in educational research. IECube is used on engineering, Harvard, Vancouver, other formats. So you may find what's the most recommended style or format in your discipline. And then I just, by choosing the one I want to, for example, this APA, I will see this reference in this format. By clicking into copy the citation on clipboard, then I go back to my document and I paste it, and I have already the reference. So I can still continue writing, and whenever I find another reference, I cite this reference in my work automatically. The other possibility is to export it into my bibliographic manager into RefWorks. If I choose, for example, this format and I want to export it into my bibliographic manager, just by clicking in RefWorks, of course, you need to create an account into RefWorks. I recommend it very highly to do it. I am asked if I want the most recent version, and I confirm. And here I am in my RefWorks database, and I just have to click into import, and the reference is saved in my library. I can either choose the folder where I want to export it, where I want to keep it. So it's very useful. I recommend you to use this bibliographic manager. If you want more information on the different citing styles, you can have a look at the library guide. You will find information on these and many other format styles. You can use, as I told you, this LaTeX, this BibTeX. And what other possibilities do I have in BUN? We saw that we had this button to search into databases. By clicking here in the AZ databases, I will have a list of the different databases. Sometimes I already know the name of the database I want to search in, so I just have to type the name in the box, but I can see by subject or by typology the kind of database, and then I will have here some icons, and you can see what the legend is, just to know if the database I want to search in, if the access is open or restricted for WAM users. So I will have to use my VPN software, because these are subscribed materials only for WAM members, or if I have access to the full text, or this text is only partially subscribed. And by searching in the alphabetic list of electronic journals, I can either write down the name of the journal I'm interested in, or the ISSN, or then I can have a look if I know how the name starts with, but I don't know the name complete. I can have a look at the journals beginning with journal of, and then choose by clicking on the title. I go to this publication, and then I can choose the publication date, the issue, volume, or the pages I want to read. This bibliography by subjects, as I told you, is very useful when you're starting here at the WAM. You only have to type the name or part of the name of a subject in course bibliography, and the name or part of the name of the studies where this subject is taking part. You have to write it in Spanish, unless the name of the subject is already in English. And then you will get a list of all the subjects and studies containing this word, geografía, for example. And then I only have to choose the subject I'm looking for. The number between the brackets is the number of results, the number of references in this subject. And by clicking on the name of the subject, I can see in the result list what are these books or articles recommended by the teachers for their students. And of course, you can also cite or send an email by email, or by clicking in the dots. You have the same options as in the other results list at BUN. You can set place a request or purchase book. You can read online, etc. If you want to read more on BUN, I have set here some links to the BUN library guide. This is the tutorial we saw. I showed you before. Here you have a link on some video tutorials on BUN. You have different links to, if you don't remember how to sign into BUN, what to do with my library card, how to save your searches, how to purchase the purchase request in BUN. You can have a look at the WAMS library video channel with many different videos on different subjects all related to the library. Or you can set an appointment with your librarian. We will be very pleased if you have, if you need something special and you need adequate information and personally, you can set an appointment. We will be very pleased to help you. You can have a look at what the training courses that we are offering from the different libraries through the Bibliagenda link. You can, by clicking in Ask Your Librarian, you have it on the main BUNS page. You can send us a message. You can send us your suggestions, comments, or whatever, any question, and we will answer you in the 48 working hours. We are going to send you an answer. You can follow the library's news through this WhatsApp number. We are on almost all the social media. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. And of course, you can come to your library. We will be very pleased to meet you. You will always find someone for your attention. We will be very pleased to see you and to help you in whatever you need from the library. I thank you very much, all of you, for your attention, and I beg you to fill out this evaluation survey. It helps us quite a lot to improve in further training sessions. Now I'm going to stop the recording of this session. I don't know if you already have set any questions and Beatriz could answer them, or if you want to ask something personally. I'm going to stop the recording right now, and I'm